Hey, gang. So we have got the new numbers, and by the new numbers, I mean not the new deliverables view. They have decided to push it out a little bit further. So once again, we're gonna have a pretty short sprint watch here because we don't have the actual sprints in front of us. So instead, we're just gonna kind of go through this. I do have the monthly report up because the monthly report kind of goes hand in hand with the deliverables and kind of give you a little bit of context about what they're working on. So I'll point out a couple interesting things there, but no reason to keep you around longer than I have to. Because we're not looking at the deliverables, I can pretty much skip the caveats because they mostly apply to the deliverables. Other than that, just a dude on the internet talking about stuff. So let's get right into it. One thing you'll notice these little transitions popping up right here. Let me know what you think of those. If you think they suck and they're totally out of place and all that, let Adobe know because they're basically just default ones that I change the colors on in Premiere. So it's their fault, not mine. Definitely not my fault. I chose to use them. Anyways, let's get into this. So up first, roadmap roundup. So as you can see, it's a pretty long list today. Notable changes for March 6th, 2024. Release view. The following cards have been added to release view, targeting the Alpha 323 release window. Image upscaling, implementing support for GPU upscaling, including DLSS, FSR, and in-house TSR solution. A TSR solution, TSR is the group that originally made D&D. I don't know what TSR means in this case. It's probably resolution based, which means it's TS resolution solution. Oh, solution. Well, there you go. Let me know down in the comments. I know what DLSS and FSR is. Volumetric clouds update. Updating Star Citizen's volumetric cloud technology to improve overall visual quality, including the addition of both volumetric shadows as well as the implementation of ground fog. And that's what they showed off in CitizenCon. Yeah, it looks super good. It is going to be really pretty. So those screenshots, mwah. That's all for this week. No progress tracker updates this week as work continues on long-term planning. So the last time, let's see, we're at March 6th now. So 2 weeks from now, we'll be nearing the end of March. I think it's going to be like the 25th or the 26th will be the next update on this. The last time they went deep into March before releasing the roadmap, they kind of kept pushing that out, and then they just said, we're not doing this style of roadmap anymore. We'll get you another roadmap once we've kind of decided what we want to do with it. I'm kind of getting the feeling at the end of last year that they felt like the deliverables view wasn't conveying the information that they wanted to. And I largely agree, just lacking context. It's really hard to take those numbers in a vacuum because it doesn't necessarily tell you this deliverable is nearing completion. It just tells you an amount of time. So it's basically saying, hey, when can I get my car out of the shop? And the mechanic going, this long. Without the context of what this means, it doesn't really help you at all. It tells you that they're working on it, but it doesn't tell you how they're working on it or how that's progressing or how they think it's doing. And that's not really the kind of thing you would include on a roadmap anyway. So, I mean, really a roadmap is more the release view, which speaking of, let's go ahead and do the release view. Here we are at the release view. So the only things that they've added are the volumetric cloud update and the image upscaling. Again, this one's tentative Q2, which probably means mid to late June. I would assume they're going to drop it. Man, with Alien Week? Because usually May is Invictus. I would guess they're going to try to drop this with Invictus, which would be May, rather than June, which tends to be Alien Week. But you can see that if you've been following this channel for a while, I was thinking that December would be kind of a quality of life patch where we'd be getting all of this stuff. it looks like instead we're going to get it mid 2024, which as long as we get it, I'm not terribly frustrated with that. I mean, that's the downside of this project, is that you kind of get it when you get it. You know it'll be high quality. You just don't necessarily know when it's coming, and it'll probably be a lot longer down the line than you think. It sounds like Master Modes is kind of having some issues. A lot of unhappy people, and when you talk to everyone and everyone is complaining, it's hard to tell whether that's because not enough people are testing it, so you're not getting people like me in there testing master modes. So maybe I need to go in there and test out master modes myself. If they start running the test right now, actually, I think it's on Arena Commander. So yeah, maybe I should start testing it right now and give them my 2 cents too, because I have a feeling right now the only people that are really going hard at it is the competitive PvP community, and they are not happy. As I had in my last vid, the one including the drama, that's partially what the drama was about. The other was the Idris event. But I won't belabor that point too much longer. But it does look 323. I would guess mid to late May rather than mid to late June. Looks like it's gonna be a pretty cool patch. We won't know for sure when they're thinking of landing these things until they give us the deliverables and we can actually see where a lot of those lines for these these interactables, these deliverables land. If a lot of them are wrapped up, then we're probably getting it in May. If a lot of them still have a ton of work to do, it'll probably be June or maybe later. I would be surprised if it went much later than June. It looks like they're pretty far along. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at the monthly report, because there are a couple things I wanted to point out. I mean, I could go into all the AI tech and all of that, but for right now, let's just look at the ships. Again, the Zeus is exiting gray box, which is pretty huge. That means that they're going to start working on, I think, levels of detail. So LODs. They're going to work on textures, not AI tech team, the ship tech art team is going to start working on it, which means that they're going to start getting like all the buttons working and all the screens, all the stuff like that. So yeah, Zeus is coming along pretty quick, and it's a pretty cool ship. The thing that I am wondering is if they're going to actually change up how the Apollo looks to kind of match the Zeus and Galaxy. That's what I was trying to think of. And I guess you could say the Scorpius, just kind of they're going more delta shape. I mean, you look at the constellation, and this doesn't have a lot in common with the constellation. You look at the Scorpius, and it kind of looks a little bit like the Aurora, but it's much more Dorito shaped. And then you have the Zeus and the Galaxy, and they're very much kind of this Star Destroyer triangle Dorito shape. And then you have the Apollo, which is more the old school, looks more like a constellation. So the real question is, which way are they going to go with that? And it's a good question. They might just try to stick to the original concept, but we haven't seen the exterior of the Apollo in a while. And that's interesting because we know they kind of did a re-concept pass on it late last year, like September-ish or so. They kind of had the Apollo on the roadmap for a couple months. So they might have been switching it up to this delta shape. We don't know for sure. But we will probably find out soon. I would be shocked when they bring the deliverables out if the Apollo isn't part of that plan for RSI to bring the RSI ships out. But anyway, so art ships, last month, progress was made on the RSI Polaris, with the exterior progressing to LOD 0. And again, LOD 0 means that they're happy with the way that the base ship looks. So this is LOD 0. It basically means the in-game model is the way they want it to look. And then they'll start decimating it, which means they'll cut down on the number of triangles. So the further away you get from it, the less detailed it gets. So it's not blowing polys, drawing out these little gribbles in there when you're 3 kilometers away and all you can see is like the basic shape of the ship to begin with. So the Polaris hitting LOD 0 is pretty huge. And the interior approaching gray box review. So that's big. Some interior sections were worked up to establish a visual target, while others are redesigned to accommodate gameplay and improve alignment with the art direction. That's interesting. I would be extremely surprised if they don't have a special on the Polaris for Invictus. 2 upcoming variants progress through the pipeline. That's interesting. So let me know what ships you think are due for variants. I would think these would be smaller ships. There are people out there that are speculating there might be Zeus variants out there, or one more Zeus variant. This is saying 2. Or Spirit might have a couple more variants coming in. I would not expect ships like the Freelancer or the Cutlass to have them because they kind of need to go through their gold standard pass, which, speaking of, the gold standard pass continued for the Aegis Retaliator, which is currently awaiting gray box gate review. Feedback from recent sanity review is currently underway. The ship's base, cargo, and bombing torpedo, which is interesting because I thought the base was the cargo, are progressing well following minor art direction feedback. So that'll be cool. This will be our first truly modular ship, barring them rolling out the MPUV, which should disconnect off that pod, which really that could be the upcoming variants right there. Our size Zeus is approaching the end of the gray box, and the team polishing the geometry around the ship. Redesign of the cargo hold is nearly complete, as are the changes to the inner frame of the ramp and piston mechanism and high frequency details, center hallway bulkheads. Polish was completed on another new ship, while yet another progressed to white box, gray box, and LOD 0. So white box, gray box, and LOD 0 in a month is fast. That's a small ship. A final lighting pass will be done soon and damage and LOD work. So it sounds like it has an internal. Yeah, it sounds like it actually has internals. But other than that, they just kind of go through the usual things here. Core gameplay has a lot of interesting things for master modes. Core gameplay continued, working with design to tune archetypes. They have so far completed around 90% of the initial conversion, with further tuning passes and refinement to be done before release, of course. And they're going to continue to tune this after they release it. Like Avenger 1, who is kind of getting slammed in my comments. I will say that I am an Avenger 1 fan. I do like the guy. He brings good things to this community. If you ever want to learn how to dogfight, he is an excellent channel to follow. And he's very patient. He likes describing things. His community is pretty good. That tuning will continue after they release it. So if they release it and people are only flying the Buccaneer, they're going to say, okay, that was unbalanced. We need to dial back its maneuverability or its speed or its range or something else. They'll kind of tune that in. So just when they release master modes, understand that it's not going to be the final version. They're going to keep iterating on it, which is the whole point about game development. One of the reasons that we follow this project as long as we have, because watching the sausage get made is both frustrating, but also intensely interesting, or no one would follow this channel. Let's see, there's one little bit of EVA in here. Regarding EVA, core gameplay continued to implement and improve networking support and ensured that players' arms and held entities don't clip into their torsos when traversing and rotating. That's kind of a cool little attention to detail. They kind of did the same thing for prone. So it sounds like there's going to be some cool stuff. So the quality of life fixes in 323 should be pretty game changing. It will be interesting to see what they follow it up with, and if all rumors are to be believed, it'll be followed up by 4.0 and Pyro. And maybe engineering. Kind of sounds like they're going to be dropping engineering with 4.0, which I personally think is a mistake, but then again, not a game dev. And gang, like I said, this one's going to be short. I don't really have anything. Let me know what you think of these transitions here, and thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Catch you next time.